This week's Parsha begins with Sefer Vayikra, Parshas Vayikra. Vayikra is much about the korbanos. What is a korban? A korban is something that you offer from yourself to the Rabbi Shalom. So many times we do the same thing in our lives. We have so much of ourselves and we want to offer it to the Rabbi Shalom. There was a famous story of a Yid hundreds of years ago that heard about the idea of a korban, and he heard about the lechem aponim, and he was so upset that we don't have the lechem aponim nowadays. So what he did is he told his wife, we are going to bring the lechem aponim. And he started to every week bring freshly baked bread, and he put it into the Oren HaKodesh Erev Shabbos. The Shamash, who was a poor man who was preparing the shul before Shabbos, opened up the Oren HaKodesh before Shabbos to check the Sifrei Torah, and he saw this fresh bread and he was so excited and he took it home for his own family. And this occurred week after week for many, many months. The Shamash being so excited to have freshly baked challah, and this man excited to be able to bring the lechem aponim to the Rabbi Shalom. And he did that until one time the Rav of the shul actually saw him and caught him in the act and said, what are you doing here? He said, what do you mean? I do this every single week. I bring lechem aponim and Hashem accepts it because it's not there Shabbos morning. The Rav said to him, you fool, it's obviously not Hashem, obviously somebody's taking it. And he stopped him from doing it. The Rav died not so much longer later. And the reason that happened is because the nachas that this Yid was giving to the Rabbi Shalom in his innocence to bring what he felt he could to Hashem gave the Rabbi Shalom so much nachas, so much pleasure. A korban is something that every single one of us, even though we don't have the Beis HaMikdash, even though we're not zoichet to bring an actual korban, but we can bring what represents a korban, and that is ourselves. We can bring ourselves to the Rabbi Shalom by coming closer to the Rabbi Shalom, by giving Hashem from our lives to Him, and through that we'll be zoichet to have all the gewaldige chosim that a korban brings. Have a wonderful Shabbos.